Sup? Yep, that's my intro. Welcome back, guys. If you haven't already, subscribe to the channel. Hit that like button also. It goes a long way. We'll be continuing with covering the Tavern Generals. If you aren't caught up, then a Tavern General is a general that can be recruited from the tavern. Not all generals can be recruited in the tavern. We're only dealing with historic generals, of course. We covered Europe last time, but just to backtrack so you guys understand what a Tavern General is. A Tavern General, if you look here where it says not recruited, if it doesn't have any other red letters underneath that, then it's going to be a Tavern General. An example of the red letters that I mean, you look at James Bowie, it says the general is temporarily unavailable in the tavern. That means you cannot get him from the tavern. So generals without that is considered a Tavern General. Starting off, we're going to go with Washington. You know, we cover Washington a lot of times. He is a premier boss hunting general. And the reason why he's a premier general is because you can get him right out the gate. Immediately upon getting him, he adds a 35% boost to your mounted troop attack, helping you be able to track bosses. His negative is that you cannot add the skill mounted troop attack. What you want to add is mounted troop defense and mounted speed and possibly march size to this general if you want to utilize them for a longer period of time. You expect to get better mounted generals later on in the game, but if you stuck with him for an extremely long time and you're one of those free to play players, then you're gonna have to utilize their specialties, and the specialties take them up, makes them a very good general to be able to utilize over a longer period of time for hitting bosses. Not so much for attacking cities, even though mounted troop attack has the highest attacks in the game, making them normally good for attacking cities. You want to just use him primarily for bosses, unless he's the best attack general you have. But you will go ahead and exert your XP in him, especially fairly early in the game. He's a decent general to keep. You won't sell him unless you end up with something much better. Next up is going to be Lincoln. Lincoln is a subordinate general. He's one of those subordinate generals that you're not really going to unlock his specialties later on down the line. You're going to be focusing mostly on developing your subordinate cities early in the game. He starts off with gold production speed, 75%, meaning you can't add the bonus skill that produce gold. Instead, what you'll be adding is training capacity, training speed, and construction speed. You'll be adding those skills to him. Possibly rather than capacity. Some people may decide rebirth, but rebirth are more for the generals you'll use for when you're going on attacking. You're not going to really unlock his specialties, but if you did, he does provide more gold production and construction. He also provides more ground attack if he's being attacked, increased troop capacity in the city, of course, and finally training speed. He gives 20% buff and 10% survival death rate if you were to unlock his specialties, which he's not someone you're going to really want to do that with. You want to use him primarily in the beginning of when you're developing your subordinate cities to produce more gold, add the skills I told you to add. He'll put some troops in there. Those always help out, but he'll be focusing on building that subordinate city up before putting a general in there that you're going to use as your main general. That's going to help you more later on down the line. If you have better, then you can simply just sell Lincoln. He has no other benefits. After Lincoln is Robert Green. Robert Green increases the attack troops' death turning wounded rate by 10% when general is leading the army. This makes him a general you want to keep inside your subordinate city for over long-term use. You want to add to him, of course, production, gold production, construction, and troop training. Those are the three skills you want to add to this general, as those would benefit the subordinate city over a long period of time. He's not a general you really want to focus on his specialties, but if you're late game and you have this general as one of your sub generals, then his specialty does have some extra benefit. The enemy troop attack negative 10% to your enemy will apply when you have him in your subordinate city and you have the specialty unlocked, as will the portion of dead troops in PvP is plus 10%. That will apply as well if you were the expert. This is late game. You have everybody maxed out. You have a bunch of rooms, and you have nothing left to do with it except plunge them into your subordinate cities. And he will be a general that you may want to still keep, because this increased the attack troops' death turning wound rate by 10% is a very good statistic to have, as it kills more of the enemy troops. The after him is going to be Nathaniel Green. Nathaniel Green is a stamina general. I have yet to get confirmation on whether or not, because most people don't keep Nathaniel Green. They sell him immediately after getting him. So I haven't got any stats on whether or not the 25% stamina cost is reduced when utilizing him, sending him out into an alliance war. It does when you're definitely attacking. Maybe somebody you can use on Monster Day if you want to keep him long term. You really want to focus on keeping him as a general for later use, even though he has that enemy troop defense debuff by 10%. And he allows you to heal a portion of your dead troops. But much later in the game, you're not really going to be focusing on him as a premier subordinate general. You're going to be using him more so for attacking monster on Monster Day when you're going through the Monarch competition. So he's beneficial in that regard. It's not so much as a sub general or attack general, just more so for being able to conserve stamina on days when you're hitting a lot of monsters. Personal, the smaller monsters more so, not the big bosses, but the monsters in general, which is beneficial in large numbers. You see the people, they get a whole lot of these monsters on Monster Day inside the Monarch competition. He'll be a beneficial general to use during that time. So you might not want to rush to sell him. However, he isn't beneficial much past that, and you don't want to utilize any of your rooms and upgrading him. Maybe get his XP up a little high enough so that he's able to hit the level 35 monsters. So he could be quite beneficial in that regards. After Nathaniel Green is Andrew Jackson. Andrew Jackson reduces enemy ranged troop attack by 20% and mounted troop health power by 20% when he's leading the army. He has a very low base stat, very low base attack and defense with 102, 103. So he isn't really someone you're going to go ahead and keep long term, even though he does have benefits. If you're going to use him for attack, he does have some benefits if he's your only general, not somebody you would just immediately just automatically sell, but doesn't really have enough for you to invest into his specialties to keep long term, because you're going to get better generals by the time you get to the point where you just have to invest your runes inside a general. You're going to get better generals, but if he's all but you have, then you can go ahead and put the XP up and utilize him as much as possible, because he reduces ranged troop attack by 20% and mounted troop health power by 20%, making the mounted troops a little easier to kill, making the ranged troop giving a little less damage to your mounted troops if he's your best general. Other than that, he's a general that I would probably sell immediately, not keep. Andrew Jackson's the last of the epic historical generals inside America. I know we had a large amount of epic generals in Europe, but Europe probably has the most epic generals that's available inside the tavern. The only one that has a higher number than Europe is the other category, has a higher number. There are two legendary generals inside the America historic tavern, and that's Jefferson. He's another subordinate city general. You want to use him for construction time, which means you will not be able to put the construction time decrease on him as a skill. However, you'll be able to add troop training, you'll be able to add troop capacity, and you'll be able to add gold production to him. And those things benefit him when you're growing a subordinate city, because until like around 16, 17, subordinate cities, they speed fast, but when they get to that 16, 17, they really slow down. One of the tactics some of the guys use is they keep these generals in order to build their subordinate city up during their times of peace and calm when they're not attacking, and then replace them with generals that they're going to be using for attack once they go into battlefield, or they go into state versus state, or KE, or they're in an aggressive server. So when you're downtown, you want to be using guys like Jefferson, using guys like Robert Lee, and was that Robert Lee or Lincoln? I believe it was Lincoln, during your downtime, and replace them during the times when you're going to be more aggressive and attacking. And the final general inside America is going to be Thomas Jefferson. He increases mounted troop defense by 35% when he's leading the army. He has a very low attack, and his defense, despite increasing the troop defense, is low at 107. A lot of people are confused as to the difference between health power and defense. The difference between the two is defense is sort of like a shield. It's an attack mitigation system. So you have to get past their defense before getting to their health power. So as long as the defense still remain, the troop won't become a wounded troop. Once it goes into the health power and the health power is being attacked, that troop ends up inside your hospital as wounded. If all of the health power is taken away, that troop dies. That troop dies. That's very important. So, that's when you're considering putting skills on a general, you want to think about putting the defense before putting the health power. As the longer the defense comes, that troop won't even end up in your hospital. He'll just stay alive as long as the health power isn't attacked. And then you lengthen the defense out, and if they get past the defense and then go to the health power, then he ends up in the hospital. So if you have a choice of putting 25% defense or 25% health power, and you can only pick one, the better choice would probably be putting the defense, as you want to try to keep that troop from even ending up in the hospital. Both of these, Thomas Jackson and Jefferson, neither one of these you use any rune stones, because rune stones are one of the most hardest equipment to obtain inside the game, especially when you're getting up there and leveling up your specialties. It starts to be really expensive. I believe the level 3 is 50 and the level 4 is 80 or something to that nature, and you get like maybe one runestone open up, gives you literally one runestone, and of whichever runestone is going to give you. Like, it's not going to give you one of each. It's just going to give you literally one runestone, and it's completely random as to which runestone is going to give you. So you want to conserve those as much as possible. You're not going to waste them on any legendary generals. So America is very short. Next, we're going to be dealing with Japan and Korea. We're going to give those their own separate videos. Hope you guys like this. So neither Jefferson or Thomas Jackson, you want to use any runestones on. You basically just want to utilize them to put a historic general inside of your subordinate city when you don't have any. You want to go with Jefferson over Jackson. You might want to just sell Jackson directly as soon as you get him, Thomas Jackson, unless you need a historic general for any direct purpose. So that's all we have for you guys today. Hope you guys enjoy, like, and subscribe.